Legend War here, and today we've got a rating your Doomstack video covering Settra the Imperishable with a Tomb Guard Doomstack. Now, there's a lot of things to go over with this army here, because with the Tomb Kings you have a lot of different options for Doomstacks, and one of the go-to Doomstacks that people tend to do is giving them a whole bunch of constructs, just going like with a full Kemrian War Sphinx Doomstack, which I don't recommend doing, because you've got a limited number of Kemrian War Sphinxes that you can recruit, and there are other generic lords that are actually able to boost them by more than what Settra can. Now, that doesn't mean that giving him that kind of army is bad, but it's not making use of some of his unique skills. With just a couple of points, you can actually boost Tomb Guard to be quite effective. And even though they are a melee infantry unit, they're still worth recruiting, because if you have a look at any of your provinces as an example, you can only ever really increase your capacity for the high tier constructs by 1, but you can quite easily increase your capacity for Tomb Guards quite easily because it's only a tier 3 building. So while I wouldn't ever build it in a major settlement, I do tend to build them in my minor settlements. I don't tend to build walls everywhere either. So I do actually end up with quite a lot of capacity for Tomb Guard, and it's better to get Tomb Guard than Skeleton Spears, for example. So looking at Settra's skills and what he's able to bring to this sort of Doomstack here, Petra the Great Father is a skill that any Tomb King Lord can get. Same thing with Sun-Scorched Bones. But Restless Minions is his unique skill, which gives 5 extra melee attack for Tomb Guard and Chariot units, but don't worry about the Chariots. And then you've also got Trampler of the Ages here, which gives extra speed and charge bonus. Now that's not a ton extra, but it still gives the Tomb Guard a significant boost, because 5 extra melee attack for a unit that's got essentially 120 entities in it, that is actually quite a lot. Other things to note about this particular Doomstack is that he decided to go down the magic line. So some people will go down the magic line, some people will go down the melee line. Now I used to go down the melee line, going down here, because you don't have enough points to get everything unless you're using mods. But after a fair bit of extra playtime with the Tomb Kings, I actually think that going down the magic line is better, because if you think about it, you've got a limited number of wizards that you can recruit as the Tomb King. So if we have a look at this particular campaign and see what's available here in Lich Priests, so he's currently got 5 capacity, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, he can still increase it a bit further. But eventually you reach your limit. It's usually like 8 or 9. Unless you're playing with like Ketep or Archon, and then you just can't get any more wizards. But you've got 1 extra wizard here in Settra. Now, none of your lords can currently get any magic, non-legendary lords, that is. So completely skipping out Settra's magic can be a little bit of a mistake, because you're just not going to get that much otherwise. And if you go down the melee line here, yeah, you can make Settra a complete beast in melee, that's true. But he's already quite a big beast in melee, and I just think you can get a lot more value out of the magic. Like, casting a couple of these spells here can sometimes yield hundreds of kills. It can be a little bit finicky, sometimes it misses completely, you end up getting nothing. Another thing is that this spell here can be very useful, and this is the primary reason why I think you should go with Settra's magic as opposed to the melee line, even though you can get this quite early. The Restless Dead here, it's, if you want to do cheese, what you can do is fake cast Sekhmet's Incantation of the Skullstorm, and what I mean by fake cast is that you start casting it and then cancel it, and then you trigger this ability here without costing any winds of magic, and not only does it regenerate some hit points, it's a small amount, but it also revives your units. Now this is mostly useful for sieges, if you want to like start an attack and it doesn't go your way and then just pull back a little bit and just heal a bit, for like no winds of magic, but also for the end of battle. So what you do is you get all of your melee infantry into a big clump, you use Resurrect, which starts generating lots of hit points, and then also do a Fate cast, which then generates about 5 or 6 casualties back for each unit. So you can end up, even if you take an absolute crap load of casualties in a battle, if you get enough time, you can restore most of them by using that little cheese, which I might be able to do in this particular battle coming up here. Going down the Lightning Strike road, totally fine if you want to do that. I usually don't, because I usually have a satellite army around Settra that's got all of his artillery. But in this one here, he's got a Casket of Souls attached to it, which I disagree with. I don't think that's a good idea, because it actually creates a weakness in this army. But he's probably just got it there for Siege Attacker, because he's gone with Chariot of the Gods, which doesn't come with Siege Attacker, which is why I usually go Cambrian War Sphinx. But it just comes down to whatever you want. There's no right or wrong answer with these two. It just comes down to, do you want an anti-infantry melee lord, or do you want a tanky, versatile lord? This will make him more vulnerable to missiles, but it'll also be easier to get out of melee fights. He'll get fewer kills in each fight, but he'll probably take less damage. So it just depends on what you want. The Chariot of the Gods is definitely not a must-go-to, even though it's technically further down his skill tree line. Anyway, let's jump into this battle here against the Dark Elves. If I attack this one here, then Malekith will come from our rear. But let's just do this sort of like a non-cheese way, because we're here to test out, essentially here to test out the Tomb Guard and how well they fare against these guys here. So this is fairly standard sort of army. It's not like full Doomstack or anything. But this will be a good test for this. It's on very hard battle difficulty, and it's on very hard campaign difficulty. Not going to use Lightning Strike. So yeah. There's also the Tomb Prince in the army, which it's fine, yeah, you can put a Tomb Prince in the army. He doesn't boost them at all. The only character in the Tomb King's roster that boosts any heroes is Arkan the Black, which, unless you're using mods, you're not going to be able to get him in this faction. Alright, so what we're going to want to do here is put all of the halberds on the flanks. Because these ones here... another thing is, if you're wondering how Settra has got 2 of the same Regiment of Renown, well, you can actually get 3 of them, because the ability... I forget what it's called. The one that boosts the Tomb Guard, his unique one, increases capacity for Tomb Guards. But it also increases the capacity by 2 for the Keptra Guard. So you can actually get 3 of them at any given time. But each time you recruit one, you have to wait 15 turns before you can get another. So that might just be why he doesn't have the 3rd one here. But yeah, this is not a mod. It's totally viable for you to do that. I don't know if it's a bug, but it's been in the game forever. Okay, so what we want to do with the artillery. This is why I was saying it's a bit of a weakness in the army. Stay as far back as possible, let the artillery shoot a bit, because I might need to withdraw it from the battlefield. Because what we're going to want to do is just charge into melee. If you were going to take a defensive position, you'd usually want like a lot more missile units. That's why you just keep your melee infantry there to hold the enemy back. But in this case here, the majority of our damage dealing is the melee infantry, and we need them to charge. So that's going to leave this guy vulnerable. I'm not going to leave any melee infantry behind to protect it. So if any of their cavalry get around there to try to kill it, which they probably will because they outnumber us by a lot, what I'm going to do is just withdraw it from the battlefield. Again, just to reiterate again, I disagree with the decision to put this in the army. I don't think it makes it better. But again, it's there for the Siege Attacker, which we don't need in this particular situation. Okay. So what we're going to do to begin with is just pretty standard technique. Go out there, cast some spells on them. See if we can get a few kills before they arrive. Maybe best to cast it on this one here, because they'll be in a bigger cluster. That's another good reason to put him on the Chariot of the Gods over the Cambrian War Sphinx, is that this is faster, so you can get in and get out quicker without getting caught. Do that just because he's not at full health anyway. Although, this is on the Vortex campaign, and he had regen, so I probably didn't need to do that, because now there's a cooldown on it. Now, because there's so many of them, I'm going to overcast this in the hope of inflicting loads of casualties. And then we should be able to outrun them. But if they get a bit close, you can always pop this down, which slows them down. Those artillery will definitely need to go. So yeah, we inflicted a bit of damage there. A bit. Now 14,000 damage. Bounce of power doesn't look too good. That's okay. Alright, just move back a little bit. Another downside to overcasting is the long cooldown, because I'd like to cast again, especially on that Blackguard of Nagaron, but I can't. I want to try and get as much out of the Casket of Souls before we have to withdraw it. It's far better off used on an infantry unit than Dark Riders. Oh, you've got a spellcast as well. That's another downside about them. Sometimes they just take ages to actually deliver their orders. Where? The missile units there will probably be a problem. Man, that was actually a really good cast on us. Okay, we gotta charge in there now. Okay, so yeah, they're going pretty ham on all this shit right away. Now's not really the time to start cheesing the ability for reviving casualties, because it just takes too long. That's something that you want to do at the end of a battle. Or when shit isn't hitting the fan everywhere like this. We don't have a particularly good ability at sniping enemy lords with this army build though. Definitely don't want to get blobbed up too much, because his magic is better than ours. If we can get Settra to defeat Malekith, that would be pretty good. God damn, how fast do you want to cast? Okay, we got to get through here to try to get at their missile units. Just let them keep fighting. I'm gonna get you to go in there and get them. Okay, Malekith is definitely going down. We've taken a lot of damage, but that's okay. Let's get the Casket of Souls. Let's get rid of their Dark Shards. Actually, no, shoot that over there. That'd be would just be more likely to actually hit them. It's good they haven't sent anyone over at the Casket of Souls. This is why we had to stand back at the beginning. We've sort of blocked them off from being able to do that. Can use this for some physical resistance. Alright, Capture Guard are getting a little bit damaged there. Let's pull it back. I don't want to withdraw it from the battlefield completely, but they're just taking too much. I can heal them at the end of the battle. That's it. Keep smashing up that, if you wouldn't mind. Have them protect the Casket of Souls, whatever it's called. Come on. Okay, oh, I should have cast that over here. Go take out the Reaper Bolt Thrower. Because, yeah, that's probably doing loads more damage. Okay, you're done. You move back as well. Okay, we need to... Yeah, you're done. You're taking too much damage. We are starting to gain balance of power a little bit. Okay, I need you to get rid of fucking Malekith. Where is he? Come on. Take out Malekith. Looks like we're going to lose some units here. Alright, you can go back in. You're not that badly damaged. Might hit some of our own units there a little bit, but gotta do what we gotta do. Balance of power's starting to get a little bit better. Once we get rid of Malekith, that'll make a big difference here. That's just at full strength. Good, we got rid of the artillery with that. That's good. Okay, how's this guy doing? Good, you've rallied at least, so you're not going to crumble away. Just wait until the end of the battle. We can do a bunch of healing with you. Trying to walk into that. No, it's coming straight for us. Alright, come after these missile units there. Alright, things are starting to calm down a little bit. Come on, we've almost gotten rid of Malekith. Okay, cool. You move back. Settra, go kill this. How you doing? Yep, that's fine. Anybody else? They're all pretty much in danger of getting wiped out, but we're really close to the army losses, I think. This one here's in excellent shape. Because it was only fighting like shitty Cold One Dreadnoughts, which are absolute garbage tier. Alright, all their melee infantry are gone now. If we could just chase after their missile units so that they stop shooting. Oh shit, this one here is in bad shape. Let's pull that one back, get somebody else in there. I'm gonna get Settra over there to try to save it. I don't think I can save it. It's too far gone. Yeah, that one's too far gone. Just do that just to keep it alive just a few more seconds. If I can just get over there and rally it, it might survive. Nah, it just hit. Oh, hang on, come on. Keep it alive a few more seconds. Okay, it rallied. We can still, even from this point here, it can still revive. If... Come on. There we go, there's the army losses. Okay, I don't think any of our units got wiped out there. And now, this is how we do the cheese. Alright, everybody just get over here. They're all on force march, so we don't have to run them down. So you do this at the end of the battle. Just let them run off. Okay, we just gotta wait for that to come back. So what we want to do is time this and this at the... Well, I guess we could do this now anyway. So, yeah, just gotta get it right. You have to make sure you cast it out of range, and then you press backspace to cancel it. And you'll see that they start to heal. Well, they're already healing, but they'll start to actually recover casualties.
Of course. Obey.
It's best used with this one here, because you can just cast it on the ground. Okay. That's it. That way he's providing extra regen, and we just keep recovering those casualties as best we can. Because, yeah, only casualties can be recovered while that's going on. That's it. If it was a larger map and they took longer to get off the battlefield, you know, the slower they are, the longer you get to actually revive them. Obviously, it would take quite a while to bring back something that was this badly damaged, but you can see they are coming back. And you're going to be difficult to bring back every last one of them, but this really just gives you an indication of why Nehekara magic is not too bad for this. You can't do this with light magic. I mean, you can heal them with reanimate upgraded, but you can't bring them back from the... I mean, they're already dead, but you know what I mean. So the Casket of Souls actually did a good job, but it did create a vulnerability in the army. Luckily, the enemy didn't make use of it. But I was ready to withdraw it in a moment's notice. But yeah, Malekith was really dropping those bloody magic bombs everywhere. That was annoying. Usually you don't go up against an enemy that's actually good at casting. So I guess this was an appropriate enemy to go up against. And you can see that the bounce of power wasn't amazing at the start anyway. But yeah, a few casualties, but nobody got wiped out. Now, this being on the Vortex campaign has one advantage and one disadvantage over being over on Mortal Empires. So, on the Vortex campaign, once you've done the campaign missions, you get regeneration for all your units, which is obviously very useful. But if you're playing on Mortal Empires, you have access to other lords that you can go and defeat, which will give your army more resistances, such as Volkmar the Grim, extra melee attack and melee defense for all of your units. Heinrich Kemmler, for extra magic resistance. Gorok is on the campaign, so getting extra leadership can be useful just to stop them from crumbling, because he provides +4. Just anything that can provide faction-wide bonuses is good for this one here, such as Tyrion, but Tyrion's on Vortex and Mortal Empires, so that's a way to make it stronger. So yeah, this is never going to get a 10 out of 10. It just can't deal with a 10 out of 10 sort of situation. But it's cost-effective for the Tomb Kings. It's not going to... You know, if you do this with Settra, it leaves you to build other Doomstacks for your other lords. And Settra does have the best Tomb Guards, and if you're probably going to have to make use of Tomb Guards anyway, so you might as well give them to Settra since he boosts them by so much. But yeah, if I was to give it a rating, I'd probably give it 7 out of 10. I would say it's a Doomstack. It's not a great Doomstack. Tomb Kings aren't really known for getting 10 out of 10 Doomstacks though, because they tend to just have loads of different armies. But I do highly recommend, if you're going to go with Settra, go with Tomb Guard. It is pretty good, but also have another army with his artillery baggage. So I wouldn't put any Casket of Souls in him, except at the beginning parts of the campaign when you don't have loads and loads of armies. Because I think in the Vortex campaign, you can end up with something like 22 armies, you know, by the end of it, if you get all of them. But anyway, that's the end of this one. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this army, what you think of the rating of it, what you think of Settra with this, and whether you think he should have better units as opposed to something that he actually boosts quite a deal. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time, fuckers. Bye.